Hey, what's up YouTube? This is the Mermail Master coming at you from the Team Time Riders YouTube channel with another deck profile. If you've seen my Cosmo ABC deck profile, please remember to give it a like, comment, and subscribe because today I'm bringing you a different profile and a different take on the ABC deck. What we're doing is not just ABCs, but A through Zs. Now, A through Zs, like ABCs are one of the best decks right now, and the people have really forgotten about the X, Y, and Z. You know, these cards are by no means like the best cards in the game. Like ABC Cannon is basically the XYZ for the new era, but Konami has not forgotten about the XYZs. So I wanted to give you a deck profile that was sort of my take on every single letter in the alphabet, including the VWXYZs as well. So, without further ado, let's get started on the deck profile, and I'll explain a couple of my choices coming through. So, we're going to start right now with the ABCs. We have 3A Assault Core. Assault Core is your kind of your beater of the three ABC Union monsters, and if he's equipped to a appropriate target, then you basically get to make that monster unaffected by card effects, or unaffected by monster effects. As you can see, he's kind of orange. Same thing for B BUSTER Drake, 1500 attack power. The same deal if he's equipped with a Union monster unaffected by spells effects. And then finally, we have C Crush Wyvern, who's great for making monsters unaffected by trap effects. And all three of these can combine together in the graveyard to make ABC-Dragon Buster Cannon. I'd be lying if I told you that having the XYZs in the deck didn't detract from like the overall potency and power of ABC, specifically because they're sort of a self-contained archetype, and really everything like with the new ABC decks is focused around helping those decks to succeed. But I figure it's not as fun if you don't, take a couple of risks, and that's what we're doing here with the XYZs. So, you already saw the X Head Cannon at the top. Only one of this card because it is a normal monster, and actually, like, Union Hanger doesn't even support this card. I'm hoping that they'll release a retrain of X Head Cannon that will focus on that aspect of things. Like they'll make him a Union monster so that he can be searched out with Union Hanger and equipped, because he is a light machine. And then maybe keep the normal X Head Cannon as it is. So like people who want to run this in like Rescue Rabbit or some crap like that can still do that. Now we have 3 copies here of Y Dragon Head, only equipped to X Head Cannon. And when it's equipped to a Union monster, let's see, it increases the attack and defense of the equipped monster by 400 points, and prevents it from destruction by battle or card effects. In this card, it only says battle, but in the one good errata that Konami actually decided to do, they gave Y Dragon Head and Z Metal Tank blanket card protection against both destruction by battle and by card effects. So 3 Y Dragon Head for that ability. And then finally, Z Metal Tank, which is the most versatile of all XYZs. He can be equipped to Y Dragon Head or X Head Cannon, with Y Dragon Head actually straight from the deck with Union Hanger, which you can also use that effect for as well. Z Metal Tank sort of has the same ability, and I believe increases the attack and defense by 600 points instead of 400 points. So a very, very good card to have for even equipping them to your XYZs and like boosting up their attack power to whatever levels. And now this may be coming as a little bit of a surprise, but we have the Chaz Princeton extension of this deck with 3 copies of V Tiger Jet and 3 copies of W Wing Catapult. These guys create VW Tiger Catapult and are very, very good cards. Not really supported with the general whole theme, but they have their own monster that they work with, and the same thing with prevention of destruction by battle and card effects, and the increasing of the attack of V Tiger Jet by 400 points. If ABCs didn't exist, I'm sure that Union Hanger would be able to special summon this thing out in the field and be able to, you know, say like you can only special summon like Union monsters, and you can only the only monster from your extra deck you can summon is like a fusion monster to sort of lock you into just summoning X, Y, and Z out of the deck. But if they can make an archetype that can really, you know, boost these things up to, you know, not just something like competitive, but something that even like rogue players would be willing to play, that would be really, really appreciated by the community, and I'd be glad to bring these cards back again in that kind of setting. And then the last monster we got is one Photon Thrasher, pretty self-explanatory. Enables those rank 4 plays. I only have one in here because, you know, cutting down on space to make room for the VWXYZ cards, as it were. So that's all the monsters. Moving on to the spells. For our spells, we're starting off with 3 copies of Union Hanger. Union Hanger is fantastic. It's one of the best field spells I think has been released in recent years, and basically fixes a lot of the problems that unions have. It's basically a support card for light machine type union monsters, which is kind of unfortunate, specifically when concerning cards such as V Tiger Jet and X Head Cannon. But, you know, its ability to search a union monster on activation and then equip one directly from your deck will get your X, Y, and Z's, or all your A, B, and C's into areas where they can be sent to the graveyard or on the field to be performing a fusion summon. You know, I'm guessing that like with this structure deck that there's more support coming out for, you know, some of the monsters that have kind of been power creeped, and Union Hanger is really the first kind of victory in that realm. So really, really like this card, and you absolutely have to run it at 3. If they hit that to 1, that's the thing that's going to kill ABCs. Next, we have 3 copies of Card of Demise. And you may be thinking, why run Card of Demise in the deck specifically because of all of the special summoning that it does? And I'll tell you the reason why. Card of Demise is a great way to discard your ABCs and to discard like extra cards that you need into your graveyard, so you can get them back with Soul Charge, you can get them back with some other kind of play, and it just really helps move your plays forward in that respect, because Card of Demise is a very strong kind of card, and you absolutely, like, you know, its drawbacks are something that can also be a bonus, as it was in the ABC Cosmo deck profile I profiled a little bit earlier than this. So 3 Card of Demise. 3 Gold Sarcophagus is remaining its place in here from the ABC Cosmo deck as well. Card of Demise just fetches anything you need, and this is actually a great way to fetch your X Head Cannon or your V Tiger Jet for Union Scramble. Just fetches it directly to the Banish Zone. If you don't have Union Scramble, you can get it to your hand, and if you do have Union Scramble, you can use that plus like whatever else you have on the field, go into that, and it's just basically a way to more quickly search for your X Head Cannon or your V Tiger Jet, which like Union Hanger and all the rest of the those cards just do not really directly support. One copy of Terraforming, very good card for searching out your Union Hanger, and then finally 1 copy of the Twin Twisters. So my personal opinion on like the ABC cards and different things like that is, you know, I'm going to do a little bit of a video later on discussions of like what constitutes like good support, and like even though the ABCs are not like do not directly support the XYZs and don't really care about them and are sort of their own deck, even though they're like direct kind of support, I think, you know, in this instance it's okay because XYZs were never really something that were good to begin with, and with ABCs being able to have all their banishing effects and all their you know, their ability to remove themselves from play and summon a bigger beater, like that kind of stuff is really, really good to be able to have. So now moving on to the traps. 3 Union Scramble. This is a card that's brand new that I decided to put in for my Cosmo deck profile, and the reason I wanted to do this is because Union Scramble is a really awesome card for getting those X, Y, and Z monsters back. You special summon them from your Banish Zone, and it searches basically your normal light monsters. I've been thinking about throwing in like a Cyber Network or something like that to send a couple more Union monsters to the Banish Zone, which I think could be a super, super good play, but perhaps that's for a deck profile for another time. Next, we have 2 copies of Call of the Haunted. Pretty self-explanatory. Get your monsters back. Activate the effective union scramble, so you can only do those plays from that point out. One copy of Torrential Tribute, self-explanatory. Pop the field, and most of your monsters don't really care if they pop the field as well. You just send the things to the graveyard and go for an ABC cannon after that, so you're really not minusing anything. One copy of Chaos Trap Hole. ABC Mirror is going to be a huge, huge thing. And in addition, you got to worry about BAPK, Cosmos, and any other deck that runs light and dark monsters. And the final card for the main deck is one copy of Vanity's Emptiness. Pretty self-explanatory. Now, moving on to the extra deck. I am actually missing a copy of ABC-Dragon BUSTER, so you're going to have to bear with me on that. Unfortunately, we've been trying to figure out ways to use like Fusion Tag and other things, but unfortunately you actually do have to have the original above printed name card, XYZ-Dragon Cannon, on your side of the field in order for you to be able to banish both of them for ABC-Dragon BUSTER. And not to mention that thing can still be tributed as well for a Kaiju, so if you're summoning ABC-Dragon BUSTER, you're either already winning or you've gotten so lucky and you decided to make a Vanities play and minus yourself in the process. But I think it's something, it's good that people can aspire to be able to make that card. So yeah, moving on to the extra deck now. This is a 15-card extra deck. We're going to start things out with the self-explanatory 3 copies of ABC-Dragon BUSTER. This card is absolutely fantastic. It's a during either player turn, discard 1 card from your hand to the graveyard to banish a card your opponent controls, and contribute itself as a quick effect to be able to special summon back all of the ABC monsters that you that were in your banish zone that you banished to summon this. So it's a very, very good card. It pluses, and it gives you stuff when it would when your end phase would come. So very, very good. And there's a reason why all the Kaiba decks are sold out and none of the Yugi ones have, and ABC-Dragon BUSTER is that reason. Next, what would this deck be without one copy of the XYZ-Dragon Cannon? This is a very rare summon, but when you can get this onto the field, it's a pretty cool monster. XYZ-Dragon Cannon has that 2800 attack power and a really, really cool ability to send a card from your hand to your graveyard to destroy something your opponent controls. Very, very good. And as you can see, I have the original ultra rare print. All of the cards I'm about to show you are original print. 3 copies of XY-Dragon Cannon, and this card actually fetched closer to $6, $6 or $7, getting close to the release of the ABCs. And I still actually have my copies with me, as you can see. Great card for if you have X, it can be very easy for you to equip Y, special summon Y, and then banish both of these guys to special summon the XY Dragon Cannon, which you send 1 card from your hand to your graveyard to destroy, I believe it is a face-up monster on the on your side of the field. Discard 1 card to destroy 1 face-up spell card or trap card on your opponent's side of the field. So pretty cool. The next card we have is XZ Tank Cannon. This guy is basically for destroying face down spells and traps, and he's the union between X and Z. You can also fetch Z from the deck and special summon it easily with X. So these are guys who you can go into as well very, very easily. You'll usually need a turn backed up by some back row to be able to use them, but very, very good if you can get them onto the field. The next card we have, of course, is 1 copy or 2 copies of XYZ Tank Dragon, which has the ability to destroy a face-down monster your opponent controls, which is also very, very cool. Finally, for our fusion monsters, we have 1 copy of the VW Tiger Catapult for, if you wanted to make VW XYZ or one of those, cool things. Discard a card to change the battle position of a monster on the field. Pretty cool card. And then finally, our three XYZ monsters we're running is one Castel, one Amaterasu, and one Tsukiyomi. Tsukiyomi is pretty self-explanatory and the best XYZ in your deck. You want to see this first turn to get your ABCs and XYZs to the graveyard ASAP. Amaterasu, you'll have a lot of times where you have 3 on the field, so you can overlay into this and continuously recycle all of your plays. And finally, Castel is great for that 2 detach and for sending cards on your opponent's side of the field, packing back to their deck. In addition, there will be a couple of times where you might actually be able to use his effect to target a monster, turn it face down, and then be able to discard something for your YZ Tank Dragon and destroy it while it's face down. So all of those monsters are very, very good and necessary in the deck. So that was a deck profile on my ABC XYZ Dragon, Cannon, Buster, whatever deck profile. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to give a like, comment, and subscribe to the Team Time Riders YouTube channel. And this has been the Mermail Master with this deck profile, and I'm signing out. I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.